What is up, YouTube, and everybody checking out the stream live today at twitch.tv/the_control freak. Playing some Jund Shadow here. We just finished through our talk about matchup guides for 4-color control or 4-color Yorion pile in modern. So that video should be up on YouTube fairly soon. Feel free to check it out. Give some thoughts, comments about what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you want to see next. So, firstly, today we're going to be playing through some Jund with Dauthi in the main deck. Been really impressed with Dauthi in a lot of these living in matchups, some of the fair matchups. But we're going to be trying out Riveteer's Charm on the top end. We've been running Seasoned Pyromancer and Liliana the Veil. But instead, we're going to cut back a little bit, go a little bit heavier on the 1-drops, extra Inquisition, extra Bolts, Unholy Heat, to try to take advantage of these Riveteer's Charms and kind of see how that works out. I've not been super impressed with this card so far, but the more we see like Murktide and Living In specifically, the better this card gets. In the sideboard, we're moved in the 2 copies of Seasoned Pyromancer removed from the main deck. I think Spyro is going to be an excellent card to bring in against 4-color and Murktide. We've got 2 Turoks for the white base removal, 2 Alpine Moon, 2 EE, 2 Chalice of the Void. A Soul Guide Lantern is an additional piece of interaction for Grave Hate. 2 Terminate, 2 Ancient Grudge for the artifact decks. So let's go ahead and hop in and see what happens. Actually, I want to change up my basic lands. Have I considered playing Channeler? I have, in fact, both considered and played Channeler before. Assuming we're talking about Dragon's Rage Channeler and not Magmatic Channeler, which I've played that also. But Dragon's Rage Channeler is okay, but I think it's the worst creature we have access to. It's not as proactive as Ragavan. It's not as big of a body as Dauthi and Tarmogoyf, and it doesn't solve the issues against like the unfair stuff that Dauthi does. So you got like Dauthi into Thoughtseize against Tron and Amulet Titan, stuff like that. You've got Dauthi exiling the yard against Living In. And I just don't think Dragon's Rage Channeler, I don't think Dragon's Rage Channeler solves any of the issues that Jund Shadow currently has. Which is, you can't say no to anything an opponent does. Like, Channeler's okay in Grixis because it allows you to dig for like your counter spells and keep the counter spells coming. But since we don't have counter spells in this build, we're more needing to just get our opponent dead as quickly as we can in those matchups. And Channeler is not very conducive to that game plan. If that makes sense. Like, Channeler really fits into that mid-range, go long plan. Help me eke out every draw step. But with, like, Jund, you can't really afford to do the eke out every draw step because your opponent's going to do something unfair before then or kill you. Alright, so if we had a second land... Ugh. Oh boy. Off to a good start. So let's throw back you. Need to keep one of those lands. Throw back you. Yeah. I think I'm gonna throw back Dauthi, Blood Crypt, and rely on this Mishra's Bauble to find me another land. But that was, what, basic swamp on the first hand into into basic island, or no, basic swamp into no land, no land. Land. Alright, let's just scoop and go to game 2. If they see that second land, it's game over. But that's part of the fun of good old variance. Not a whole lot you can do about that side of it. Alright, so going back to the sideboarding plans that we mentioned earlier, Temur Battle Rage is a pretty big liability. Turoks are great. Seasoned Pyromancers are great. Terminate if we want a little extra removal above something like Lightning Bolt that's not going to be able to kill some of the bigger elementals. Last board out. Maybe a Dauthi. Probably just an Inquisition since it doesn't hit some of the big stuff. Let's try to keep a functional 7 this time. So we're 19 lands with 4 baubles. We could consider Street Wraith in here, just to add a little more consistency. Honestly, we probably should, except Street Wraith does not pair very well with Riveteer's Charm. So, probably better to keep the Street Wraith on the sidelines. Again, the biggest issue that Jund typically has right now is you have a rough time against the unfair matchups, the living ends and stuff like that. So we're way more geared to try to fight those than we are like the over-the-top mid-range matchups. Alright, it's a pretty good hand. Dress down, Abundant Growth, Expressive Iteration. So I think we're just going to take the Abundant Growth here. Get down Tarmogoyf on 2. Then we can start looking into like Kroxa or Dauthi, depending on what we draw. But I really want this Tarmogoyf attacking sooner rather than later. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attack with Tarmogoyf first. Seasoned Pyromancer is a really good draw. Attack with Tarmogoyf first to see if I can like bait a dress down inside a combat. Because if I do, I would rather just play the Kroxa second main phase. Lightning Bolt here grows Tarmogoyf, so again, just trying to bait this dress down. Yep. Now I just get to play Kroxa, say go. Fairy, yep. Alright. Ragavan's not bad. But I think what I'm going to do is Tarmogoyf, hit them. I'd rather hit them than hit Teferi here. And we'll Spyro, ditch Kroxa, and Dauthi. Okay. Let's go see what you got going on. Got a Veil of Summer. Alright, so let's dash Ragavan. And I think we're just going everything at them. So Prismatic Ending doesn't do anything for me. So just pass. Build through this turn. Did sideboard out 2 lightning bolts, so I do still have 1. Yep. Alright, so I guess they didn't hit a land there. So now we know with Risen Reef that we're against a more creature-heavy board of 4-color pile. So lightning bolts look a lot better. Terminate looks better. Dauthi looks a little bit worse. Nice deck. Maybe you don't need TBR. I mean, maybe not. TBR is still pretty good, though. I'm just going to board out a couple Inquisitions and like a Dauthi. We saw Expressive Iteration to Fairy, Ren game 1. On the draw, Ragavan's a lot worse on the draw. Board out a couple of those. I mean, I think Jun needs that unfair part of Teamer Battle Rage. Opponent mulliganed. So this is turn 2 Dauthi. Get a Bauble Scry. Turn 3. Still not 3 Shadow. Pretty inclined to mulligan this. That's way better. Hand Disruption into Goy for Hand Disruption into Bolt myself Shadow, whatever I decide. And I kind of mentioned it in the sideboarding guide earlier. I would rather just play into this turn 1 Inquisition than or turn 1 Veil of Summer than sit on Lightning Bolt that's like not even going to be able to kill a Ren. So, yep. Double basic abundant growth, sure. Alright, so let's get down Tarmogoyf here. It's Ren, no Prismatic Ending, sure. Kind of want a Spyro. I think I'm going to. Reasonable draws. It's good to find an answer to Omnath if they play one here. But I really want to get below 11 life if I want to play out a shadow, so that I can keep from them being able to just like exile Spyro with the Solitude and kill the shadow as well. That's going. Alright, so let's lead with attacking. See if our opponent's got a second copy of Veil of Summer. We do. And we pass. Not a whole lot you can do against multiple Veil of Summers. Top 6, top 15. So hope here is that our opponent just like untaps, puts an Omnath on the stack. We get to terminate it, then we untap and find 4th land to kick Turok. So if they do play an Omnath, I want to make sure I kill it with the draw trigger on the stack. Alright, so this looks like just Solitude. Alright, so let's just attack with the Seasoned Pyromancer. So if they want a Solitude and exile just this, it's fine. Yep. But I don't want them to have, like, we attack all out, they Solitude, exile the Spyro, and block an Elemental token. Alright, so we'll just kill that with the trigger on the stack. Alright, how about this 4th land? There we go. Turok, sure. Solitude, Omnath. Okay. I'll double block and get this off the board. Kill spell for one of them. Solitude one. Sure. Solitude and a Traverse for Omnath. Okay. Let's go double Goyf here. Get an Omnath draw. 80 cards indeed. We're 23 in. They've seen triple Solitude, plus Omnath, plus double Veil of Summer. It's a pretty rough top 23 cards. And the mana to cast them. So Omnath here. Assuming plus a fetch land. About second Turok. That would be best draw. Holy Heat's not the worst. I guess if I attack with both. Yeah. I'm going to attack with both and play out the Shadow. Like, I'm in a rough spot if they've got fourth copy of Solitude. But I can't play around everything. Sure. There's currently no Planeswalker in the yard. So if I find an answer to Teferi. Alright, well now they got the fourth copy of Solitude. You wonder how you lose this matchup, and typically 4 copies of Solitude is a good start to that answer. Go. Think it matters. We need them to draw a little dead here. Not quite drawing dead. Also not quite drawing dead. But we have very differing ideas of what drawing dead looks like. So now they've got enough to add Yorion and play it. They did have 0 cards in hand, you're correct. But that's what happens when their entire deck just says draw a card, right? Like, you can afford to have these situations. Now they just get to Yorion, blink both their Solitudes, and game's over. Ugh. But, like, them drawing a string of runners there doesn't bother me. It's like the double Veil of Summer, triple Solitude in the top 15 or 17 cards, whatever. That's the part that's like, whoa now. Calm down. They evolved with the Traverse. I mean, like, the 4th Solitude, I understood, because they've got copies of Traverse, but they naturally drew the first 3. Oh, Omnath, something in this deck, like, absolutely needs a ban. But I've been saying that since Antoine posted his Reddit article. Just, like, saying he had a 80 to 85% win rate with the deck. Like, that's not okay. Alright, turn 1 bird. I assume means like Yawgmoth. Want another Thoughtseize. No. Rolf's Messenger. Okay with that one. Ooh, do we just want to play our own Grist? Probably. Yawgmoth isn't going to get banned with its new artwork. It's possible it doesn't. I don't like making too many assumptions, but I think we've shown in the last few years that, like, Wizards, to an extent, will listen to what the community has to say. Back the Messenger, kill Grist. Yep. Alright, so we can go eat the young wolf. Attack the Grist. Oh, why didn't I attack? Should have attacked at them. Like, I should have attacked the insect token at Grist and the Ragavan at them. Alright. So we have potential lethal here. Can we kill them through a Chord of Calling? If I go fetch shock, down to 2, battle rage shadow, they can Chord for 6 and get another Giralf's Messenger. So I just need to fetch shock once and fetch off the other, but not shock. That way I'm not dead to another Giralf. Alright. And that's the power of Temur Battle Rage in this matchup. I believe so, but not since I don't follow new products hard anymore. Oh, you're talking about Omnath. I mean, it makes sense that he's got a box. Doesn't he already have an alternate art, though? Didn't he get an alternate art with, like, BFZ? Or not BFZ, Zendikar Rising. Yeah, he got this stupid thing. How many alternate arts do they need to give Omnath? Alright, on the draw, Ragavan's a lot worse. This is another one of those matchups that, like, Dauthi's excellent to have against. So, I think I'm just going to board out all of my Ragavans. Maybe not bring in Soul Guide Lantern since I've got Riveteer's Charm and Dauthi. But I want to bring in these Terminates. So let's go like this. If everyone asks for reimbursement after playing versus 4-color, they'd fix it. So just like every time you get paired against 4-color, just say, oh yeah, Moto screwed me. I couldn't do anything. I was locked out of the game. I want a reimbursement. Alright. Let's start with an Inquisition here. Bingo. Lost 4-color because they had like 3 Endurances and 3 Solitudes in their hand. What about all 4 Solitudes and double Veil of Summer? How about that one? Alright. I can get a basic swamp or basic mountain or something off this. So it's Thoughtseize just in case they drew into like a Yawgmoth or something. Bam. So good at this. And we're just going to go ahead and kill you. Alright, so are we going for Riveteer's Charm? Guess so. Don't get a lot of chances to play it. And if they play like a Grist or something, we can make them sack it. So that's kind of fun. We also drew into 3 of those. 3 of their Teferis that I had a hard counter every time. Teferi's a pretty rough card to deal with. Black, green, red. Terminate 2 lands. It's almost reasonable. Let's go. Terminate you. Play out one of these lands. Say go. Strangleroot Geist. Alright. Unholy Heap that one. Take our 1, untap, get down Spyro. Let's see what we're drawing into. Bloodstained Mire. Rather not. Can't draw into anything at instant speed that needs green. So I'm just going to get my basic swamp here in case we draw Terminate. We'll always say this, that I want 2015 meta where Magic was enjoyable, at least for me. I really enjoyed, like, right before MH2 dropped. I had a lot of fun in that meta. I'd say that was, like, probably one of the more enjoyable for me. But a lot of that was because I felt like I could play, for the most part, whatever I wanted to play and be fairly happy with it. We could play like 4-color, Jund, Grixis, something off the wall. Got a wall of roots. Alright, now do I want to main phase this Riveteer's Charm? Let's attack first. Even if I draw a Teamer Battle Rage off the Riveteer's Charm, like maybe that's actually my reason to main phase Riveteer's Charm. Is in case I draw a Teamer Battle Rage. I think I'd rather just like pass and hold it up now. Solitudes, I can't really play through the Breach anymore. Oh yeah, that probably is a really rough one, isn't it? Alright, what would opponent hold up here? Alright. Bolt Shadows, pretty good hit off of that. So, Riveteer's Charm looked decent that match. It's kind of funny against the deck that like relies so much on Graveyard and bringing stuff back that Riveteer's Charm never actually exiled the graveyard. Which that's been the second question with Riveteer's Charm. Is how does it compare to a card like Painful Truths? So Riveteer's Charm, you get the 3 mana, instant speed, exile the top 3, so it doesn't pair very well with things like Solitude, or not Solitude, Street Wraith. God, Solitude's on my brain now. It doesn't pair well with things like Street Wraith, where Painful Truth does let you draw the cards instead of exiling them, so you can like cycle from your hand and whatnot. The downside is you are paying 3 life for Painful Truths at sorcery speed. Alright, mulliganed. Guess we'll ditch a Battle Rage. Mulliganed again, so if they're on like Tron, I'd rather have the Battle Rage. I'm just gonna go Catacombs pass. I can fetch up like Stomping Ground, so they are on Tron. I'm gonna say I can fetch up Stomping Ground if I need to have Bolt available right away. Croxa. I want Croxa. Probably okay. Like I need to find a 3rd land for it to be really good, but it gives me another card type in the graveyard. Maybe I'm able to find like Black Source, Thoughtseize in the next couple draws. But there's not a lot of stuff that would be better than Croxa right now. So we do find the Black Source at least. The next turn I can like Bolt plus Croxa and then attack. And it does have the 2nd Tron land. But no Sylvan Scrying. Red, black. Roxa before combat in case opponent has something like a Planeswalker that they want to ditch. Throw the Tarmogoyf. Cascading Cataracts. Yep. So, like to find like Shadow, Thoughtseize. Now it's do you have a second payoff? Yep. Alright, we'll scoop to Karn. Good old Tron. We got Alpine Moons, Ancient Grudges, Turoks. Not really anything else. Maybe could consider Chalice just for like Chalice on 1 after I already have a board presence to stop the eggs. But pretty low on the list of things I want to be doing. Holy Heat's out, Terminate's out. Tears Charm's probably pretty slow and clunky. So I think we're going to go like this. We get to be on the play, which means maybe like a turn 1 Ragavan can get us into something good. Also, like, really like games where you have turn 1 Ragavan against Tron into a map and then get to follow it up with like a Grudge your map or something. Charm's good. Sack big Planeswalker Ulamog. If they play a big Planeswalker or an Ulamog, like, they've already done the damage off of it. Like, they're hitting you with the big thing that you can't deal with, and the game's almost over at that point. Alright, what do I think of this hand? This is basically a mold of 6 with the second Ragavan. Kind of a mold of 5 with the Battle Rage. So I think I can have a better 5 than this. So I'm going to ship it. Should have kept the 6. Or the 7, whatever. So it would be great if like this Ancient Grudge was another fetch land. But we kind of joke about this sometimes with Mirabito about these hands with these mid-range decks. You see a 7 that's like on the very edge of keepable. You know as soon as you ship it that the next hand's going to be like absolutely horrendous. No chance of getting there. Alright, not really feeling a second copy of Kroxa. I'm just looking for like a Thoughtseize or something so I can Dauthi into it. Play out the Goy first, so if they like crack Star, play Ancient Stirrings or something, it goes to the graveyard instead of exile. Can't quite cast that one. Guessing this is Eldrazi Tron. But no, not with the stars and spheres. Why are they playing Urza Saga in normal Tron? This is just to go get map.
I guess we all have future pants. They're pants we're going to wear tomorrow. And the next day.
Alright. That's a really good draw.
And the day after that.
Let's go. This is a 2/3 that they're making, so we can attack with that. Play Dauthi.
And the day after that.
Got it. Oh, stone.
And the day after that.
We're just getting Thragtusk here. Since it leaves behind a token after the O-Stone. I'm assuming they're just gonna like Saga, go get map, crack the map, play out an O-Stone or something.
They're pants we're going to wear tomorrow. And the next day. And the day after that.
I'm pretty sure I just want to be able to follow up with something that lives here. So that grows Tarmogoyf. All basic forests that I didn't know about. And let's go ahead and get this Thragtusk. Say go. Now we do have just like lethal battle rage threats if they do end up like not cracking this O-Stone. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana available. Just got in. I thought that Ulamog was an option. Nah. If that Ulamog was an option, we were 1000% casting that. The rate they're going, they're going to mess up and tap off this O-Stone. Okay. Last zone, sure. Cast something else. Tap off this O-Stone. One more thing, cast. Yeah, they're 100% O-Stoning. Alright. That'll be pretty good in a post-O-Stone world. We get our 3/3. Drop an Alpine Moon, which they do have Blast Zone. Let's name Urza's Tower. Holy smokes, 34-minute side or vid about sideboarding against one deck. There's actually 2 of them because we put one up on YouTube already and we recorded another one for the 4-color pile matchup at the beginning of this this stream. It's a Karn. Back to us, sure. Let's take a star. Play Ragavan, say go. Yeah, I think both of them ended up being like right around 30 minutes or so. Well, they've got multiple ways of dealing with Alpine Moon. Like, they can map for Boseiju, they can keep Blast Zone and pop it. I'm just trying to keep them off another actual threat. Like, they've already got the Alpine Moon covered by just what's on board. So, it doesn't make too much sense for me to, like, try to stop a second way of dealing with an Alpine Moon. Didn't see the Blast Zone. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and get in for 7 here, or 6 here. Move the map for Eye of Ugin. We're toast. I hope you mean Sanctum of Ugin. Never know with these decks. Probably another Urza's Saga. Oh. They draw an Ulamog. Alright. We're dead to bridge. Actually, let's see what they get. 3, 6, 7. I guess technically we're not dead to bridge. Golos. Probably dead to that, though. Let's see. Can't think of anything. Tron's a pretty horrendous matchup for your fair Jund decks. But yeah, what Amplum is referring to is we uploaded the first of our matchup series videos to YouTube earlier, where we're going to be going through full videos highlighting specific matchups from like the Death Shadow side, going over sideboarding, game plan options for not only like blue-black X Shadows decks, but green-black X Shadow decks, and all sorts of variants and stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, hearing about sideboarding, hearing about how to approach different matchups, we've got the first video up on YouTube. Link is in the chat now. And we recorded the second video highlighting the 4-color pile matchup at the start of this stream, so that one should be up sometime before the end of the day. Burn. Ooh, baby. I think I'm gonna just take a creature. Goblin Guide. They attack me with a Swift Spear. I can play a Croxa. Or they just top deck another Goblin Guide. Bear. Lightning Bolt's Dees. I think I'm just fetch shocking playing a Shadow here. Go ahead. See if they want a Searing Blaze. Alright, so Searing Blaze, unknown. Searing Blaze, unknown. Let's get rid of one of them. You. Yep. Second copy of Searing Blaze. Eidolon. Is the second copy of Searing Blaze. Alright. Black, black. 2, 3, 4. Scooping to it. Woo. Last card had to have been a land. Or no, they were just dead to Shadow. They were at 12. Never mind. Alright, so we've got EE post board. Terminate's okay. We saw no white mana out of them. So no, what does no white mana make me think? Probably. I'm going to say they just didn't see any white cards. If they didn't see any white cards, they didn't have a big need to go fetch up white mana. Because we saw fetch lands, and typically if you're playing like a mono red burn variant, you don't really need fetch lands. Alright. Game 2 against Burn. So Burn's one of the ones I'm actually really excited to do a a matchup analysis for, or a matchup guide for, because I think that there's a lot of times against Burn that people make, good way of putting it, non-optimal decisions, like fetching and shocking too aggressively, not fetching and shocking enough, letting their opponent have outs that they probably shouldn't have access to. And so it's one that I think you can cover a lot of those aforementioned possible outs with like commonly played cards. And a lot of times people just like won't bring them in. Like EE covers not only a bunch of 1-drops, but it covers Sanctifier on Vec, Snaring Bridge, things like that. And like nobody ever wants to bring it in. Let's take path, say go. We've got a way to attack through Sanctifier on Vec for lethal, but I can't do that if my shadow is just gone. Alright, so double Lava Spike, Boros Charm. Double Lava Spike, Boros Charm. I think I just want to go Shock in, Stomping Ground, play Shadow. So go. And obviously the hope here is that they just go Spike, Spike, pass. It does not look like they want to do. I'll fire off the other one. Alright, so now what's my play? Bolt them down to 15. Untap. Fetch basic swamp. Go down to 5. Shadow's an 8/8. Attack with Shadow. 16 trample. They block 2 of it. They go to 4. Or no, I'm bolting them into turn. What am I talking about? Yeah. So go to my turn. Play the Verdant Catacombs. Attack with the Shadow. They block. Cool. Fetch up basic swamp.
You have reached the voicemail box of
Teamer Battle Rage, the Shadow. And if they want to like fetch and play Boros Charm, whatever, we don't really care. So this is putting them down to 1. If they play Boros Charm and like give the Goblin Guide indestructible, we can always bolt ourselves and add another 6 damage to this for the 4 they're preventing. So that's going to kill them. So 6, then another 8, and then we've got Bolt You for lethal. All right, match number 5.
the person you're trying to reach is not available right now.
What were our losses to? Tron and 4-color pile. Took a game off 4-color, but Tron was rough.
If you need further assistance, enter pound now.
Yeah, I don't really know why they attacked with the Sanctifier. Like, I don't think there's any good outcome that comes from that. I get I can't block and it's 2 damage and that's great. And you have lethal burn in hand. But I think attacking with the Sanctifier just like opens you up to the only ways that you lose the game. Which is, hey, Battle Rage, removal spell for Goblin Guide, swing, stuff like that. When you just don't need to play into that. Because if I have to swing through like both the Shadow, or both the Goblin Guide and the Sanctifier, then we're talking about a situation where like I need Bolt myself, Fetch Shock, Battle Rage, and it still might not be enough, but it also just leaves me dead to Boros Charm and your Lava Spikes and stuff. So the correct play out of them would have just been like, don't cast Lava Spike, pass, don't attack with Sanctifier or Goblin Guide, playing on end of turn Boros Charm, untap Spike. And then you've got the attack with Sanctifier there if you need it. Bad Rocker 19 Magic. Okay. Yorion, so probably another 4-color pile deck. Which means this hand's going to be completely dependent on whether or not they find Solitude, more than likely. But them starting on a mulligan's at least good for us. Got a very slow hand. Then we're probably going to have to take the Fury next. Yep. Alright, so they've got access to Expressive Iteration here. So if they find Solitude off the Expressive Iteration, that's probably game over for us. But they can't currently play Wrenn 6 off of their lands. So they can't top deck a Wrenn 6 to deal with us. Is this Ice Fang Quaddle? No, it can't be Quaddle with. Probably just Counterspell. Try to set up to maybe we can draw a fetch land for lethal. Almost a fetch land. So what are they shocking to hold up? called a traverse. Oh, so they can traverse for Solitude now and go ahead and evoke it. That's a rough one. Not much we can do about that. Yep. Man. Whoever said these traverse builds are rougher was right. So, prismatic ending. I mean, if we can find... If they play Omnath and we can find a fetch land, we still have lethal. Especially since we get to put Delirium into our yard with a fetch land. I think I have to go full on just like Battle Rage plus well, not now. Yeah. Let's go ahead and attack and do nothing. Attack, rely on your fetch land to save you. Fetch land. Okay. Come on, crack your fetch. There we go. They have to be sitting on counterspell, right? We'll make them have it. Yep. But we get in for 9, so if their play is just like play Yorion, we can Riveteer's Charm and kill it. If their play is something else, then we can Riveteer's Charm, draw a couple, and try to find an out. Alright. So, Riveteer's Charm. You sack your biggest thing. Black, green, red. Woo. Look at Riveteer's Charm doing something. Maybe I need to withhold my judgment on the card. So we got Spyros, Turok, Terminate, all potentially coming in. Unholy Heat's not great. Battle Rage is not great. Lightning Bolt's pretty meh. And we'll see what happens. So, all we want is for this Yorion player to not have double Veil of Summer, triple Solitude in their top 17 cards or whatever it was. All right, let's feed kids. Kids need a Happy Meal. They ain't getting no prime rib steak, but they need a little something here. Reasonable opening hand. Can I get a Mighty Kids Meal instead? Mighty Kids Meal. Hold on. Mighty Kids Meal. Introduced in 2001 as a response to Burger King's Big Kids Meal, the Mighty Kids Meal is a variant of the Happy Meal. Never heard of it. It was designed for children who had outgrown the traditional Happy Meal but weren't yet ready to order a traditional combo. Customers were able to choose either a McDouble or a 6-count chicken McNuggets as their entree, French fries, or Go-Gurt strawberry yogurt as a side, and a drink. The meal also included a toy. Alright. So I'm going to lead off with the Inquisition, because again, I don't want to play Renin or Ragavan here and just have it like Renin 6 down tick. As always, the 80 card Yorion deck has a Veil of Summer, so you have to just accept that as an inevitability. I believe that is the 4th Veil of Summer cast against us this league. They also have the Renin 6. The consistency of this deck is just ungodly. Like, turn 1 Veil, turn 2 Renin 6. Every post-board game. Alright, so let's go. I'm just going to get down Tarmogoyf. I don't believe you're supposed to just hit, like, the perfects on curve every game in your 80 card deck. Got Teferi bounce from Tarmogoyf as well. Man, we're good at this. Something, something. Probably not beating this rollout. Into Mist Land Drop. Their hand is what we would call in the business the nuts. So let's pack it up. It's also like the play draw difference is ridiculous. Like, if we have turn 1 Inquisition, take their Renin 6, turn 2 Ragavan, don't care about Veil, get to play out our turn 3 play on curve. It's a whole different game, right? But when your opponent's got like Veil for your 1-drop, or if we had played Ragavan, then they just get to untap Wrenn and 6 down tick on the Ragavan, and we're kind of SOL. But personally, I would rather make them have the Veil of Summer than the Wrenn and 6. Mainly because they need the Veil of Summer right there in the opening hand. Wrenn and 6, they get an additional draw step to find. Ooh. I don't think I want a second copy of Riveteer's Charm. Ragavan of their own? Nope. You're really struggling. Alright. Traverse the Ulvenwald. Got Snow-Covered Island. Kinda sus. Drew the mountain so I can just get Overgrown Tomb. I really want to just play the Ragavan. Since they just did this to get a basic, and it's not a basic that casts Wrenn and 6. I don't want to just get this down and not dash it. So if this is Ice Fang Quaddle off the top, maybe I choose the Riveteer's Charm. Alright, so let's go Spyro, ditch Ragavan, Shadow. Okay. I wonder if they're just like naturally drawing all these lands. Alright, let's crack in with the crew. I also need to decide, am I going for Turok, or am I supposed to just play out Tarmogoyf? I think I just want to play out Tarmogoyf. Do I have Supreme Verdict on my radar? Yeah, I guess we'll just pass. That's not Veil mana. Bolt, another Riveteer's Charm. Okay. Hold up Bolt and Charm here. So ready for this. Alright, I was gonna say, what's it called? Settle the wreckage. Alright, so we'll let the endurance trigger resolve. It's targeting me. Then we will Riveteer's Charm you. Hit in for 6. Delta Fairy. Not hit him for 6. And I think here we're kicking Turok. I know I lose access to the Bolt, but they don't have up Counter Spell. There's Omnath gone. What do we got? Uh-huh. The old Veil of Summer concession, I see. Alright, so what do we think of that lead? Riveteer's Charm looked a lot better than I thought it was going to. I'll give it that. The only thing we cast off of it was sack a dude like twice, and then every other time was just look at 3. So I feel like most of the time we had that available. What's it called? Painful Truths would have just been better, because we don't have to use those cards right away. Like that last turn there, if we'd Painful Truth into Riveteer's Charm, Lightning Bolt, whatever, we could have charmed plus had Lightning Bolt in our hand instead of just like exiled forever. The life loss wouldn't have mattered. So that is something to think about. Like, as a draw spell, Painful Truths is better. As a flexible spell, there were a non-zero number of times that Riveteer's Charm getting to sack a dude was relevant. So I'm not saying it wasn't. Dauthi was a little weaker that league, but we didn't see like Living In and some of the matchups that Dauthi is really there for. But if we can beat like the 4-color pile matches with Dauthi in the deck, I would rather keep it there for the ability to help us win some of the unfair matchups than like board it out or have it out of the board and then just auto lose the unfair stuff game 1. I'd rather have a shot since those unfair things are so relevant. Spyro looked amazing out of the board, as always, putting bodies on the field, getting rid of some dead cards in hand. Turok, excellent. Didn't see any Chalice of the Void matchups. We did see Tron, but didn't see Ancient Grudge against them. Saw Alpine Moon, which they preemptively got Blast Zone, so that didn't get to do too much. But good showing for Riveteer's Charm.